Hello guys and welcome back. I'm not so sure what was happening. I think because I was changing, I didn't have to change anything. This mode worked just fine, but in my previous example it was set in subtract mode to get this result, but the union simply worked in this example, so maybe this geometry is better. And this is the original geo, so all these shapes, and then we have these guys, and I'm doing a boolean between them, and you can see we have this cool detail added to the pillars. Now the cool thing about this is we can change this part by simply increasing the scale of the circle, of the sphere, and we can also change the thickness, not this, this. We can scale it. Sorry, 0.5. We can reduce how much it goes inside the geometry. We can also do it here before we copy it, so it's cleaner. And I think I'm gonna show you another. This will be a good example to show an issue with the copy. Now see how the copy is aligning them in a weird way, and they're not all at the same depth. And again, the reason for that is because these guys, they don't have any normal to them, and in this case the position still works because we have vectors properly aligned. So I'm gonna copy this, add it here, and that should give us a proper alignment. So let's reduce this to 0.2. You can see they're all aligned together properly. Let's see if that still works. Yeah, this boolean stuff is pretty impressive, to be honest. Okay, let's change this to 0.5. Still doing that, I'm not so sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that for now. So this is the idea, and let's plug it back with the other stuff. Let's delete non-selected, and let's merge all of this together. And maybe let's add the bevel to all of them. I don't have. I'm not sure why I wanted to do it on a specific section only. So let's do the poly bevel on B. Okay, and maybe use a different radius to distinguish them better. Something like that, maybe 6 here. And let's see how that behaves with the boolean. Maybe it freaks out. Yeah, it did. So see, now it's doing it right for this, but not the others. So let's not do the bevel on those guys at the moment. I mean, there is a way to fix it, but I'm not gonna do that now, maybe later. So, okay, let's see what else we have. So, what I want to do is, we have this guy, and we have something, we have this shape as well. So what we need is we need to find the silhouette of all of this together, and we can easily find that from this geometry. Okay, so we have this, we have all this cool details, and what I need is I need the just the border of this guy. So I'm gonna rely on the boolean again. I'm gonna create a circle. I'm gonna do boolean between this circle and this guy. Okay, I'm gonna change them to surface, both of them, and let's change this to polygon. Let's increase the division, and let's change it to subtract, and now we have what we need, which is great. Now I just need this part at the center. Okay, so I'm going to create let's see, let's do an end. Let's use an end node, and this converts any geometry into curves. I'm going to change the U into unroll, and that will convert everything into edges. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do some manual cleaning here, so I'm going to double click and then blast remove everything else. I just need that geometry there. Cool. So let's see, we want to create this part. Okay, and I showed you guys how we can do that using a soft transform, but I want to show you something else. So what I've done is I took this image from the web. I have, where is it? I have this. Don't remember molding. I used some molding keyword or Rails. I honestly don't remember, but we can grab any of these guys and use it also, and not have to worry about creating it in 3D. We can use any 2D packages like Adobe Illustrator and create the silhouette that the profile that we need. So I have this image here. We're gonna learn how to use a new node in Houdini. It's not a new node in Houdini, it's a new to us. It's called trace, and you give it a black and white image. Well, it just have to have some contrast, really. It doesn't have to be black and white. And I given it that crop molding that I showed, and this is the result that it gave me. If I click here, you can see it has a lot of points, which is fine. We can use this threshold to tell it what range from the image to pick, and it creates profile, which is amazing. We can apply some filtering to it, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna use a trick in the facet node. In the facet node to optimize this. So I'm gonna drop down a facet node, and here you see remove inline points. And what it does, it analyzes the curvature and only places point where they contribute to a complex curvature. When they have complex curvature, it keeps the points. So I'm gonna use something like that to just leave a few points that describes this, and then I'm gonna use a fuse node to make sure that everything is perfectly fused. Cool. Okay, so we have this guy, and I'm gonna use a node called sweep. Okay, and what this does, it takes in a profile and a path, and it sweeps the geometry across. We can also tell it to, after it copies all these primitives, we can tell it to skin them to create the geometry out of them. If we go under output, change this to skin with auto closure, it will give us this geometry. Now it will have issues aligning this guy properly. Actually, I'm not sure if it uses the normal or not. Let me try something. Yeah, it uses the normal, so we can use the normal of the geometry to align these copies, and it's actually very simple to create the same thing by hand. So to create a sweep tool. So now we're using the normals to align them, which is the normal in this case is the tangent. Obviously, as you can see here, there's some issues in the geometry itself, so we could fix that, and maybe let's do that. So I'm gonna add a fuse node and just fuse the points that are close to each other like that. I don't need it to be super precise. Okay, and let's take a look at the normals. Cool. Sweep is better, and let's just rotate it so it's facing the other way. Oh, cool. And let's scale it a bit. Perfect. And now let's add it to this to the main pillar that we did. And now we have that added. Let's transform this. Actually, you know what? It's yeah, I'm gonna make a copy of this so I can use the transform. That's fine. Put it there, and let's connect this guy. Maybe let's move this down like that, so that when I copy it, it's it loops basically. This extension here goes inside the other geometry. So let's do copies and transform. Let's add some copies. Let's move this up. Okay, and actually I don't need this because we're simply using the previous copy from the bottom, and it's connecting together. Cool. So this is a pillar, and as you can see there's a lot of cool details. The only part that is not procedural about this is the selection of the silhouette, which is still a tricky thing to do. I mean, we can do it by hand all the time, but we can also create a hacky system to use a region to only select the things that are in a box, for example, in this area, but I'm not so sure if that will include this edge or not, for example. So let's go back and take a look at what we have, the way we've built the system. We have these copies, so it's based off this guy, so we're grouping 4 points. Let's reduce this to 10. Nice. So if we select more points, it's copying more of these guys, and it's doing more subtraction. Okay, let's try this. Let's see, it's doing that as well, so let's see how that works. Okay, so now the rotation is not working properly because of maybe something like this would work better. And we can also reduce the circle size so it's only in that section. Let's see how this looks now. Different profile. Obviously it's gonna change a few things in terms of poly count, because we're using all these guys based off some specific geometry count. Let's see. So we have 3 points there. That's good. Let's see how it's working here. Not so great. The boolean is not working in this example, so we have to revisit that. Let's disconnect it at the moment and just use this. Okay. Interesting. So this guy seems to be working as well. Looks like the geometry did not, it did change. So see, we have to select this again. Fuse, sweep, and we have a new silhouette now with smaller circles. So you can see we have a lot of control as to what we can do, and it has 5 sides now instead of 4. And you can see how much control we have with just a few tweaks. Our system is not 100% procedural, which is totally fine. Let's leave those for later. So we can create this shape. We can create this. We can create this as well if we wanted to, but I'll show a simpler way of doing this. But pretty much this. I wanted to show how to use the copy swap, how to use the booleans, and how we can create this. Now, I'll show different methods. You guys can use whatever method you like to create the geometry that you need. Hopefully this one shows you a way to create some pillars. And let's get to the next example. Thank you guys for watching.